All right, hello everyone. This is the RSL 3. I'm joined by Dethro, who's going to be casting with me again today. Hello, Dethro.
What's up, guys?
How's it going?
It's going pretty well. I'm excited.
Okay, good. I am too. Today is going to be the Group H, and we are going to start with Verdi against Leenock. Our second game is going to be Leenock against Lucifron, and to finish with, we're going to have Lucifron against Verdi. I don't know much about Verdi, so no insider tips about how exactly he likes to play against both Protoss, against both Zerg and Terran. But I'm a little bit more familiar with Leenock. I think everybody is, as well as Lucifron. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to these games. Do you know anything about Verdi actually?
He used to be rank 1 GM like a year ago, and he's been doing pretty okay like in online tournaments. I'd say he's very good, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him beat Leenock or Lucifron here today.
Okay. Well, I would be surprised to see him beat Leenock even if he's good, because Leenock is just so good these days. Placing high in every tournament he plays in. He plays so well. Anyway, our first map today here is going to be on Scrap Station.
And then the top right or middle right location, playing from Russia for Team VP BenQ, we have Verdi. Oh yeah. And then in the top, or should I say, well, top middle of the map, somewhere around there, playing from South Korea for Team FXO, we have FXO Leenock.
That's not bad, but I think your sound quality of your microphone is a bit worse today than it was yesterday.
It might be my, hold on, I'm sorry.
Anyway, Verdi is gonna go for the early wall by this choke. I'm not sure how to call it, but usually you would go for here. Like you just need to put one gate, one forge and one pylon, and you have just only one space to cover. But then you have to worry about those rocks later on, which might be pretty hard to cover, because you need to put a bunch of cannons here if there is an all-in, and we know Leenock is fond of those sometimes. I think on this map, especially Nidus, will be very strong just because there is so much space area to cover. And I wouldn't be surprised if Leenock goes for some kind of Nidus play for here, for example, and just tries to punish his opponent. But yeah, Leenock, he's a very versatile player. He could basically do anything. He could expand, go into a macro game, go mute us, especially since it's Scrap Station, it's close air. Like I said, I'm not very familiar with Verdi style, but he actually, okay, he scouted the main. He saw there was no early pull, and now he's just basically trying to prevent a hedge first or a hedge going down at all at this point. He went for the forge first just to be safe, especially since his wall is going to be so far from his base and his expansion. Had a pretty decent overall placement so far from Leenock. I guess, like, I mean, he doesn't know if it's a forge. Yeah, he didn't send a drone to scout, so he doesn't know if there is a gate somewhere or something. So he's being very cautious right now. And yeah, Verdi cancelling the pylon. He might throw down another one. Leenock just being very patient about this. He actually had time to make a hatch here, but he doesn't seem to want to rush it too much. And dual gases being made here by Leenock. He's not supply block, so this is not going to be an extractor trick, and I think we might see an all-in here. He waited until his links were almost out to make sure no probe can sneak in, and I think from now on he's basically just going to be super careful about not letting any probe in. Maybe leaving one link here to cover this entire area, seeing any probe coming, prevent scouting, and then if he can manage to get a Nidus, it would be very good for him. I mean, there is just so much space. It's impossible to cover everything. You will need like one probe in patrol here, make one pylon here, and then actually just one probe in patrol here, but then you can still make a Nidus here. And yeah, actually I didn't mention those rocks here. Verdi is going to be able to block this area, but if Leenock comes through here, this will be very hard to defend from Verdi if he's not prepared.
I think Verdi took that forge so far, so he wouldn't have to deal with the rocks at his natural.
Yeah, but
the downside is the Nidus.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Wow, so few drones on the minerals by Leenock. I think we should see a couple Zerglings starting to be made here soon. He's already started speed. He's gonna have enough gas when his lair finishes to make a Nidus. And this arrives so early. I think it's like 6:40 or something. Around 6:40, your opponent can start making a Nidus somewhere near your base. As a Protoss, at this time you have nearly nothing. You're just making your first stalker. So if you have one Zealot, one stalker, and you don't spot the Nidus, you won't have warp gates. If the Nidus gets up and tons of links stream in, you usually lose one of your bases, and then you're very far behind, even if you can defend the other one, which in this case would be very hard since Verdi's wall is actually so far from, and his cannon is so far from his base. But actually, Verdi, he seems quite aware of this for some reason. He's making a pylon up there. He's just going to have to be very careful in his base, but if he was to spot that first Nidus, it would be huge information for him, because he would then be able to be aware of what's happening, and he would know he just has to defend, and then he will be in a great position. Verdi opening here with the Robo, and where do you think Leenock will throw down the Nidus? That's wrong.
If you look at Verdi's vision, there's 2 spots in the main that I think are going to be used. And yeah.
No, if you look at the vision from Leenock, where does he think he can make? Like only only at the near the natural, you know? He's gonna move. And look, Verdi is ready for everything. I really like Verdi's position right now. If he does not mess this up.
Look in the main.
Oh wow. Okay, I thought you could actually see this. Okay, my bad. And yeah, those links are gonna stream in now. There is one immortal on the way. Those are not great against Zerglings. There is no pylon at the natural. And Verdi right now with so many probes, 38 probes to 19 links, is actually gonna choose to use his probes to try to fight the Zerglings, but there's just so many Zerglings. I can see Verdi losing everything plus the Nexus here if he tries to fight. Verdi, oh, nice use of the stop command here, but I don't think it's going to be enough as there is just so many Zerglings, and Verdi is losing everything right now. His sentry goes down, his stalker is about to go down, he's going to lose all of those probes. This one immortal is going to be left standing against 30 Zerglings, and GG calls Verdi.
Yeah, well, I mean, Verdi, I can understand why you want to dodge the second set of rocks at your natural. They used to be a pain back when the scrap station was standard. So maybe he didn't practice the map at all and he just did that. But unfortunately for him, he didn't put probes on patrol in the main.
Yeah.
And
I think just one to cover the top area would have been enough.
Yeah, well, there was like two dark holes in his base to the left side and beyond the middle line, and that was crucial for Verdi, unfortunately. So after the break, we'll be back with Game 2 of Leenock versus Verdi. Don't go anywhere.